We're going to go ahead and call the Beer Board meeting for August 16th, 2011 in order. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes?
I'll make a motion that we approve both minutes from May and July's meetings.
Okay, motion to accept the May and July minutes. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and no opposed. And this was advertised in the Daily News Journal. Okay. Old business, on-premises beer permit application for the Mariah Mexican Grill located at 580 Waldron Road. Would you like to come to the podium, please? Okay, if you don't mind, state your name and the name of the business.
My name is Vincenzo Cangelossi, and it's Mariah Mexican Grill.
Okay. And has everyone had a chance to look over his application? Or does anyone have any questions for this gentleman?
Bruce, did the background check come back?
Yes, the background check came back fine.
How long have you, is this your first business?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have any other businesses throughout the state or anything?
I do have a travel agency called Expeditions Travel. I have had it for over 15 years now.
Okay.
I also had a restaurant downtown Nashville,
Yes.
right across from Lipscomb University, but it has been closed.
Okay.
Did you sell beer at that restaurant?
No,
Okay.
no.
So this is the first beer permit
Yes, sir.
experience?
Yes.
You do understand the laws and regulations by the state and by the city government?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many employees will you have working for you?
As of right now, I have 4 because we're not open yet.
Right.
But we're planning to have an extra 4.
Okay. When's your date of opening?
Shall be on the 23rd of August of this month.
Okay.
You're aware that if any of your employees break any of our regulations, that you as the permit holder are responsible? So if one of your employees sells alcohol to a minor, you would be responsible.
Yes.
We would call you in front of the
Yes, I
You're
understand
aware of
that.
Okay.
Are there any questions? Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the permit.
Okay, have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote aye. If you will, get with Bruce probably tomorrow, and he can take care of the
Okay,
permit
Sounds
for
good.
you, okay?
thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, you can go ahead and leave. Off-premises beer permit application for Quick Sack number 616, located at 518 Waldron Road. Mr. Patel, please. If you would, state your name and business.
Yeah, my name is Brijesh Patel, and like Quick Sack 616
Okay.
on Walden Road.
And this is just this is a renewal?
Yeah, the change ownership.
Okay, any questions from the board?
How many employees will you have other than yourself?
We are like just family business, self-employees. I work myself and like my brothers work with me. Just 2 employees.
Okay. When did you begin operating that Quick Sack location?
For this one, 6/16, I make a change of plan. I'm probably going to be end of the month, yeah, first of the month, next.
Oh, so you have not started operating?
No, not sure.
Okay, okay.
Because I was late last board meeting, you know, and I was out of country, and my brother was late here.
Okay.
So I'm missing the change of plan.
Okay,
Right.
Okay. So no beer's been sold at that location in the past month or?
I didn't do that.
Not by
Yeah,
you, sure.
the old owner do that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So has the sale been complete
For the
for,
store,
yes,
yeah, we got lease and everything complete, you know,
Okay,
for next
okay.
month.
Okay.
you do understand the laws and regulations
do.
of the state and local government, okay?
How about the background check on this one, Bruce?
Came back fine.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to accept the permit?
I'll make a motion to accept the permit.
All right,
I'll
second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thanks.
If you will, get with Bruce and he can take care of that for you,
Sure.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. New business, on-premise beer permit application, Sports Grill, located at 3024 West near Shreeman Boulevard. Tina, and I'll let you pronounce your last name, okay? If you'll go ahead and approach the podium, please, ma'am.
Hello, my name's Tina Chantavon.
Chantavon,
Mhm.
all right. Okay. Questions from the board?
Have you operated a restaurant before? First time?
First time, but I have deli at my other store, but I never served beer there.
Okay.
But it's gonna be my first time for this one.
Okay.
How many employees are going to be working with you?
I'm gonna be hire about 2 people to help me.
Okay.
So 2 employees.
Yes, sir.
You do understand the laws and regulations of the city and the
Yes, sir.
state
Yes, sir.
as far as dates and hours
Yes, sir.
of sale? Background check come out okay?
Came back fine, Vice Chairman. I do want to mention that this location is directly adjacent to a store that is also owned by Ms. Tina. And actually, I believe the kitchen is actually located in the store and not in the restaurant portion of the business. There's a drawing in the packet that shows the layout of how the store and the restaurant are going to be. It is separated by a wall, and there will be a throughway, is the way it's listed on the drawing, of where they will be taking the prepared food back and forth to the restaurant area, the seating area. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that at this location. It is separate from the off-premises store that is located next.
So the kitchen is the 1,200 foot
No,
squared back in the back?
no, the 2,400 square foot
Okay,
portion
I see.
is the store
I'm sorry, I
portion.
see.
The 1,200 is the actual restaurant portion.
I got you.
So the address listed on the permit, 3024, is that the address? I mean, I don't know if they have a,
The new address for the.
that's for the whole
restaurant.
building, for both sections?
No, I have like 3 address for the.
For
because
the
I-
restaurant side?
Restaurant side is 3024,
Okay,
and for my store is like 3016.
okay. Okay.
So what are all the addresses for this property? Or do you know?
I lease like three room, 3 units. So
There's 3 units?
the 2 unit, I make the store and the deli, and then I lease another room for the restaurant. So it break in the middle. We put the door right in the end of the room. Go through that side. People order food, they just paste to me, so I make the food for them.
Okay. Well, it's an on-premises application, and the premises is 3024. So I don't know what impact it has. I assume the beer would be poured in 3016 and carried over to 3024 through the throughway. Is that correct? Because that's where the kitchen is.
I have that one for the 3016. It just only sell out, but I want people can sit down and drink in the 3024.
Okay.
So why I serve food during nighttime.
Maybe I'm missing something because I was late. We already have an off-premises permit for the 3016 in operation right now.
Correct.
The restaurant itself is the
3024.
smaller side of this diagram. The store is the larger side, which contains the kitchen. Okay. Do we need a stipulation of some point due to the fact that the beer is being
Transported?
prepared in 3016 and carried to 3024? Yeah, I'm more addressing that one to the attorney.
Volley in his court.
And I did state that right, correct? You are
Yes, ma'am.
preparing it in 3016.
Right.
So that one I sell to go, but now I need license that they can sit down and drink at 3024.
But because the kitchen is in the store side, you're still preparing what they're going to sit down and consume on the store side and carrying it to the restaurant side.
Carry to that
So
side.
that's my question to the
Yeah.
attorney is, do we need a stipulation somehow?
Come back to you last
If
page.
the stipulation is that they can only.
Glad you can make it. Thank you.
Which page you want?
This is the throughway that they
Yeah.
want to transport from.
But this is
So,
store,
yeah. So that,
and
I
the
don't-
kitchen's way over here.
Right.
So we're pouring
This
it
is-
here and we're hauling through the
Essentially,
store.
this is what I think is kind of going on, is that this application, because it only covers the 1,200 feet, I do not believe that any beer can be stored and then served, and then transported through the thoroughway. I think that if any beer is going to be sold and served, it's got to be stored in the 1,200 feet, in the kitchen
In the-
side.
in the
because
1,200 square foot.
That's where the address is.
Right.
I don't think they can store it in the kitchen, and so if any stipulation is made, it's just simply that this is for the address that's covered.
When it's delivered, it needs to be delivered to 3024.
I don't think they can do this. I don't think that they can have the beer in the kitchen served and transport it to the other side. I do not believe that that's permissible.
What if we issued them an on-premises permit for 3016 and
Can't hold both.
3024?
Can't hold both at one
Okay.
side.
Can't do both in the same.
Okay.
And this application is not for that.
Oh,
side
I
as
just-
well.
yeah,
So
sure.
It's an issue that if they're going to serve it, they need to keep everything on the side that's under this permit. So that would be the stipulation. I don't think we can stipulate that they can go through this kitchen.
And that was my main concern looking at it, that if this restaurant was actually on the same side as the kitchen and we did the 1,200 square foot here, and then the opposite side of it was the store, there wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
But the way that it's divided, we can't do both permits for the store side because that goes against our ordinance. And that's more so what you're asking us to do, even though you're wanting them to sit in the separate address. It's being prepared, stored, and held in the same address that you already have a permit for off premises. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why this is difficult for this board to be able to in any way accept?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were storing it in the 3024, that would be a separate issue. But you've got a wall, throughway, your kitchen's in another area. So that's where the problem is.
But the guy that delivered us the beer, he said the beer have to be like separate anyway, because the kitchen and the beer is not no different. He said like the beer we have to keep under the 3024. It be the truck deliver different than the store.
But do you have storage facility and the ability in the 1,200-foot side to store it as well as make, do you have the cooling system and the keg on the 1,200-foot side? Is it the food that's coming from the kitchen to go over, or is it both the food and the beer that's going over? That's where we're at.
They separate. They're gonna put cooler and where the sport
Restaurant
grill,
side?
the restaurant, but only the food will be cooked in the kitchen. And if they want, then they order, and they cook the food, and I have to take through the door. They got the door go through.
So you have means of actually storing and serving the alcohol, the beer itself, on the 1,200 side.
Why don't you get her to come up here and lay that out where she's going to store this?
Can you show us on the diagram that we have exactly where, you're welcome to approach and show us where you have storage and ability to serve it on this side?
This is my kitchen.
Right.
Over here, and this is the bathroom.
Yeah, we understand you're going to cook here, but where on this side are you going to have the alcohol for the restaurant?
They make like a bar right here, where they can serve beer, and all the cooler under, and on the back side is only the food from this side if they want, and go through it.
Okay, so there will be no beer that's poured on this side and carried through.
They have beer on this side. They deliver on this side the beer.
So the beer is actually, you have, when the truck comes, he has two separate deliveries,
Yeah.
one for your off premises,
Yeah.
one for your on, and he's not bringing both parts in here and carrying it through. He actually has to come through.
One come for the restaurant and one just for the store.
Okay.
So it's two separate deliveries,
Yeah.
two separate orders
Yes.
each time you order.
That's what the guy delivered beer for me. I asked him to be separate truck because the restaurant and this one is just a regular store.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions as far as the diagram? We'll go back to the podium. Thank you. Does that clear us up in any way?
I think it's fine.
Okay.
I think in that situation.
After the clarification
After
of
the
it.
clarification, with the understanding that the bar is going to be built on the restaurant side, there will be separate deliveries, and the beer that is sold for the on-premises will remain at all times on the side of the restaurant. That should be permissible.
Now, you do understand if you run short on the restaurant side, that you can't take from your store to compensate, nor vice versa. At that point, both your permits would be invalid. It has to remain separate, otherwise
Yeah.
this doesn't work.
Yeah, I gotta keep them separate so I know which money come from which side.
Right.
So if it ran out, I have to call them deliver on this side. So,
Exactly.
yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions or concerns about this application? I took over again.
Go ahead, take off. Or is that, how does that work?
What?
She takes over now?
You would just turn it back over to her.
Okay, I'll turn the meeting over to you now.
Do we have any motions or any other questions about this permit?
I'll make a motion to approve the permit.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And
Very last one.
Bruce will get with you in a day or so with your permit.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good night.
Yes.
And the last order of business for this evening is on-premises beer permit application for the Noodle House Restaurant located at 5270B Murfreesboro Road. We have someone here for that application. Please come up to the podium. Okay. And if you can state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Sompong Ratanabong, restaurant Sia Noodle House, 5270 Murfreesboro Road.
Okay. Is this a transfer of ownership?
This is
Number 15.
the best way to explain this. This permit was actually revoked last year on August the 17th, which will be 1 year ago tomorrow, because of a violation that they committed last year selling to a minor.
Okay.
They did not show up at the meeting, so the permit was revoked for 1 year.
Okay.
So they have reapplied and are asking for another permit for this restaurant, for this location.
Okay. Out of that situation last time, I am asking, was there a conviction for the person who sold, or was it deferred?
My name is Teba Munivong. I'm going to be translating for him. ถึกใหม่เท่าแล้วนี่เขาใหม่ตั้งไหน
แปลว่าพวกเสิร์ฟอะนะ waitress มันไป vacation แล้วมันลูกสาวมา
แล้วเขาใหม่ตั้งไหน
บ่ไม่แปลว่าเข้า morning อะจ้ะบ่ morning แล้วมันนี่แปลว่าคนเสิร์ฟไปเบิ่งบ่เบิ่ง
เขาใหม่ตั้งไหนเขาใหม่อะ
ไม่แปลว่าแล้วเขาให้มาประชุมแล้วมันนี่พอดีมื้อนั้นเขาเอาลูกไปหาหมอบอกเขาเอาลูกไปหาหมอแล้วมันนี่เขามาบ่ทันมีนัดหมอ3 โมงส่วนที่เขาหาหมอก็5 โมงคน
แล้
ละ
ว
ลื
เขา
ม
ใหม่ผู้สื่อมานะ
เขาเป็นไม่คนบ่ฮู้เขาไม่แต่ว่าเขา probation ให้เราเฮ็ดเวียกให้รัฐบาลนะ
I believe what he's saying is the server, the person that was got a probation or some sort of community
Probation.
service.
I was fixing to say maybe probation is a better word to use than deferred, easier to understand.
I believe he said that that's how he was, like a 100-hour community service.
Okay,
Does that sound right?
it does.
Okay, it takes a
does.
while for him to get that.
Okay.
Bruce, do we know, is the Discovery Zone Learning a licensed daycare?
I went on the State of Tennessee's website today, Department of Human Services, I believe was the department, and printed out a list of child care providers in Laverne. That specific daycare was not listed, but I'm not sure that that includes all. It may be just people that are in a certain program. I'm not sure that that's an entire list. I also found online today a listing for that Discovery Loans Learning Center, and there is a license number listed on the page now. Whether that's a state license or some other licensing, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And that's all the information that I have.
Now,
But
am
there
I
is a
correct
daycare.
that Discovery Learning Center is what backs up right there to the farmland?
It's actually directly behind the restaurant.
Okay.
I don't have a color map
Yeah.
to show you.
Maybe you think there's the wrong place.
It's this,
anyway.
It's that one right there.
It's the building directly behind
Oh,
where the
okay.
Noodle House is. It's well within the 200 feet.
And do we know how long that Discovery Center Zone Learning Center has been there?
I don't know exactly. I know that it was not there when they received their permit a few
Previously?
years ago
Right.
previously. And I'm not sure if it was there last year when that permit was revoked or not. There's another restaurant located, if you're looking at the map, to the left of the Noodle House, that is the Mexican taco
Right.
something. They have wanted to get a beer permit also, but due to the location of that daycare, they have not even submitted an application at this point because they
Okay.
are also within the 200 feet.
My only other question then is, The Mexican restaurant that you're talking about is separated, correct?
Correct.
The Noodle House is actually in a strip of businesses.
Correct.
Would they stand under the ordinance part of strip mall?
No, because the daycare is not located in the strip mall.
Okay,
If it was reversed, then that would be the situation, I believe.
okay.
I think what's at issue is determining whether the Discovery Zone Learning Daycare Center is licensed or not. I would say that if they are a licensed facility, they would not qualify for a beer permit under our ordinance.
Right.
And of course, according to state law, any daycare that holds over a certain number of children has to have a license, and I'm not sure,
Yeah.
how many. They say the capacity on this is 34 people, which I'm sure is well over that minimum for having a license.
If I'm not mistaken, the minimum is like 5 or 6.
I think it's
I was
7.
thinking it's 7 or 8.
Right.
It's 7. You can
We're
have
all
up to,
around
you
it.
can have up you can have up to 3 without much of any licensure, and then you can have up to 6 with, I believe it's a county license, and 7 and up it's 4. So
Okay. I guess my other question would be for you, Bruce. Due to the fact that you've denied the Mexican restaurant the opportunity for an application due to the Discovery Learning Center, at this time, we're going to have to assume that that is an operational licensed daycare for this meeting.
I wouldn't say that I have denied them an application.
They haven't come into,
They have not submitted an
Submitted.
application.
Okay.
I have given them an application, but due to the location of the daycare, they have decided not to turn it in. Whereas in this case, he has decided to go ahead and apply for it.
I misunderstood how you said it, so my
Yeah,
apologies.
no, I can't deny a permit, so.
Well, I guess what I more likely meant to say was the fact that the Discovery Learning Center, for all intents and purposes, is a daycare, is a licensed daycare as far as we know.
It appears to be, yes.
And therefore, no new permits can be allowed at either the Mexican restaurant or within the little strip to per our ordinance.
I think the main question is because this was a previous permit, that was revoked a year ago. I think that was the main reason he was wanting to reapply, because of the situation with this specific permit. And he was informed that by myself that I did not know how this
how
board
this would work out.
would treat this application. So
I still say we have to treat it as a new application because it was revoked. And unfortunately, the daycare has moved in after the fact. I don't see any other way around it.
Regardless of when the daycare
Right.
moved in, we're now looking at the fact the daycare is there.
Right,
They come
correct.
back for a permit that the old one that's been revoked is said, done, and over with.
Mhm.
There is no connection
and I can't remember what
to this application from that one, even though the unfortunate circumstances is what brings them before us.
Right.
At this point in time, I have to say I'll make the motion that we have to deny this due to the fact that it would be in violation of our ordinance.
Right.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Due to the situation of the daycare, there's not anything we can do without going against our ordinance. So at this point in time, there's no way to approve this permit.
I just want to make sure I clarify what the conversation between the board was going on, so I can
Okay.
explain him.
Understood.
From what Bruce was saying, that the license for the Discover Land or Discover thing is not valid or can't be verified.
We can't
we're not-
verify
it's
it
not
right,
verified
currently.
at this point.
Right. So if I understand this right, if that's the case, if it's not valid, can he then reapply?
If for any reason that is not an actual daycare, I don't believe we have any other that's within 200 foot.
My question is, does our ordinance say it has to be a licensed daycare center?
The application says licensed daycare facility.
Yeah, but I'm with Bruce. Is it daycare center or is it licensed?
Wow.
In our definitions, we do have a definition for licensed daycare center. Let me look at the distance regulations. Yeah, it does say licensed daycare center. So yeah, we would need something that shows they are not licensed, which if they're having over a certain number of children, yeah, then they're violating the law.
Right. If that was a possibility, coming before this board with that information again, we would definitely entertain the idea. But without that specific information at this time due to the location, there's not anything else we could do.
Okay. Well, I
Okay.
just want to clear that part.
Understood.
Okay.
I want to have this as discussion. If they came back with an application, would they have to resubmit another fee since they just paid this one? Do we need a vote on maybe waiving the fee if this is not a licensed daycare?
Do we have that ability, Mr. Attorney?
I think it says non-refundable.
I'm sorry.
I think it says non-refundable.
Yeah, my understanding is it's non-refundable. Bruce just said it's non-refundable. What happened today is you guys have taken action on it.
Okay.
So any subsequent application is a new application.
Okay.
So they'd have to pay another fee.
Okay.
Are you under the impression, I mean, your business is there, I mean, do you see a lot of kids coming and going?
I can't personally answer that, but I got to ask him.
Okay.
Business ตัวอยู่ข้างหลัง daycare มีเด็กน้อยมี customer หลายอยู่บ่ไปหั่น
น้อยประมาณบ่ฮอด10 คนนะแต่ละ
He's saying less than 10 kids are there.
Okay. Hmm.
แต่คนดำสบายคนดำ
Okay, haven't had this issue since I've been here. Dana, stop me if you have. Is there any opportunity, having already voted for it, to rescind that vote and do a deferment until we can
Confirm.
verify that it's a daycare?
Because we haven't closed the meeting.
Yeah.
They've not closed the meeting yet, so I think they can.
I've never encountered that. So I don't have an opinion on that. I believe Bruce, with his experience, says that since the meeting is not closed, you can
Understood.
revisit. But I'm sorry, I do not know the answer to that
I've
question.
been here for 11 years. I haven't had this had to ask this question myself.
It's my understanding under Robert's rules that you can rescind the motion. Just going to look at our rules of procedure, see if there's anything listed in there about that.
That's why I wanted to discuss a little bit before we go too far.
Well, and while we're having this discussion, and I don't have the ordinance in front of me, if an existing permit holder has a daycare move-in while they have their permit, does that impact their permit?
No, it
Not
does
unless
not.
they lose it for some reason.
Okay.
Or they die, sell the
Relinquish it.
business, relinquish
If
it.
if they come before the board, okay.
Yeah.
If the permit is completely lost, like in this situation, it was revoked as opposed to suspended. If it had been suspended, this would have been a continuation of the old.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is a different scenario in that no license exists, because once you have a beer permit and somebody moves in that would otherwise impact, you have a vested right in that beer permit. So it's,
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, even if this business was to be sold, there wouldn't even be the 30-day leeway to continue it to someone else. That beer permit would be extinguished, and with the daycare being there, it would have to be for a new one. So did Robert's rules allow us to rescind that or not?
Our rules of procedure for the beer board do not address that issue. I believe under Robert's rules that since the meeting is still open, the person that made the motion
And second it.
and then the person that seconded it can make a motion and second to essentially rescind the motion, and of course that would have to be voted on.
Okay.
to approve that as well, and then you'd be back to square one.
Okay. I would like to rescind that motion of not being able to approve this permit.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor of the rescission of the motion?
Aye.
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 Now we're back at square one again.
And back to one again.
Not quite all the way back, but pretty close.
I would like to make a motion that we defer this application till our next month's meeting
Confirm.
to give the owner of the establishment the opportunity to confirm the license of this daycare, whether it is a licensed daycare or not. Do I have a second? Or do I need a second on the defer motion? I do.
I will second that.
All those in favor of the first and second to defer to next month?
Aye.
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 Sort of leaves it open.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a silly question. If the city can't verify their permit being valid through the state or some other form, as Bruce put it, how would we go about doing that? Isn't the license? I mean,
They
isn't
have to have a license posted or at least
operate.
on site.
Gotcha.
So if someone was to knock on the door or go over during business hours and ask for a copy of their license for the reason, explain the reason of the beer permit request, then that would make it easier for the city to actually verify that that's a valid license.
Okay. So is it the county that they have to register through to get this permit that they're, or is it the state?
As our attorney had stated, it depends on the number of children that they actually have. If they have over a certain number, then they have to go through the state. If it's under a certain number, then they can do it on a county license. But with their advertisement saying that they can hold up to 30, they should have a state license.
License. And I believe you said about minimum about 5 or 6 to
I believe,
county?
my recollection is that it's 7 or more children brings it into the state regulations.
Gotcha.
That's my recollection on the matter. But
I will invest into that, and I'll let you know.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you
And
for
at
your
least
time, the
this
board.
allows this application to stand for another month.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other business at hand? Bruce is not saying, there he goes. Then we consider this meeting closed.